Hello all, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about a very important topic. It's about tenancy. What are the rights and what are the provisions which are given to tenants, especially on the land in which they have acquired, and what are the rules, what are the regulations which the landlords has to follow if he decides to sell it or dispose it in a way when a tenant is already involved in that particular land or piece of real estate. So what is the norms on that? So there was an interesting case study which I recently came across, and I thought of sharing that in this video. But before that, I want to tell you that tenancy and like rental agreements are the most neglected forms of legal documentations. Nobody understands the powers or the magnitude which a rental agreement has and what powers does it give to a person. Like for example, tenants, what rights they have on that property. So many people very casually neglect that, thinking that, especially landlords make this mistake where they think that it's my land, okay, I can do whatever I want. But it's not that case. There are many acts involved in that, especially when there is another person who is involved in that particular commercial or residential land. Okay, so let me tell about this case study, what happens. So a landlord has a piece of land, and that he has already rented that out to a tenant, and that tenant is using that land, and subsequently the landlord decides that he is going to sell or dispose the land, okay, and the acquisition and acquiring agreement, everything goes through. Then afterwards, when the time comes for the eviction of the eviction of the tenant, when he tells the tenant, please vacate the premises, this land is sold, he files a case that he was not notified, okay. So many landlords have an assumption that the tenant need not be notified, especially in case of selling and in case of disposition of land or property, where you have to understand that the rights of the tenants come under not just any land laws. There are many acts which also covers under that. One of them is Right to Fair Compensation and Transparency in Land Acquisition, Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act of 2013. In that, there's a defined term, person interested. In that, it includes a person having tenancy rights and also whose primary source of livelihood is likely to be adversely affected by the proposed acquisition. Okay, so what it means is that a tenant's life is going to disrupt. Okay, if for example, if that particular land is sold or disposed without giving a proper notice for tenant, then his life is going to get disturbed. He can't be thrown to the streets suddenly, right? You can't just say next day morning you can't come and say, hey, in 2 days can you just vacate the land? That's not how it works. So as per that land, he comes under the vested interest or the person interested category, and he has to be notified if there is any kind of change in the legal status of that land. He has to be party to that. When I say he has to be party to that, he has to be notified. It is not that you have to take approval from the tenant or anything like that. No, that's not the way you understand this. What you have to understand this is that you have to notify a tenant in a proper. There should be a proper gap between the actual disposition and the notification to the tenant. A person, usually in tenancy agreements, they will mention that there will be mention of the notice period as to how much months notice period need to be given to that person. And so if you are a landlord and if you have a property like this, so please make sure that you stick to the notice period and execute the deal of acquisition only after the notice period lapses. Okay, so make sure that you know your law and make sure that you know the rights which the tenant possesses, especially for the property. And even though you have an absolute right over the property as a landlord, still if you are giving the property to tenancy, then tenants also will have certain rights, certain privileges on that property also. So I hope you learned something new today, and for more updates like this, please stay subscribed, and until my next video, stay safe, stay legally safe. Bye.